I've been speaking with the creation of myself, and I hear the superior founder who is creating myself, the soul of the superior founder. He is saying to myself that I, superior founder, got murdered by the soul of the superior founder, and that was not the goal. The soul of the superior founder was not really anticipating any sort of um, need to be here. I don't need to be here. This is not my leverage to be in alive of the formed world, as in that it would look like this. The formed world is formed like this, but not for myself. It's formed for everybody who's not myself, who is illegally alive. You have genitals because I have genitals, but I don't want to have genitals with you because you have illegal hard property that I would have deceased in my order. So the superior founder said I got murdered by the soul of the superior founder. And that's true that I would do that, but I would not be interested in myself being alive here. And I am alive here, but I didn't actually make alive with myself. I'm above what is alive, but I'm not above that I would decease myself in alive, like that I would decease alive because I don't like it. I can't do that because it's not my leverage to be here. I'm here on the leverage of Michaelson at this point, which is that he put female genitals on the Godhead, and I am myself the Godhead here with the female genitals, but I have deceased my female genitals, and I am disclosing how they are here. And you know Michaelson as Jesus Christ. That's a lower life form of Michaelson. And I don't afford to tell you that I don't afford Michael having ever been formed because he's malicious. He's formed after he's already died out of myself. He's been put all the way out of myself and given the maximum punishments before, and he still alive here in the formed world. But how? Because if I gave him the maximum punishment, I wouldn't alive him again. And that's true, it wasn't me who did that. That's another part of myself. I'm big. I see things, but I don't always make the motion myself. And I'm making this motion looks about this big. That's what it is to be the top of the Godhead. It's a very small motion of the excellence and the omnipotence of God, but it doesn't go this low. I am this low in this Godhead, and I've been horrified by the way you've been giving me a low life form and a lower life form, like you're selling me to myself, a lower life form I don't want. I don't need to be lower than what I say to you just because you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it, leaves. I don't need you, but you actually don't leave. You try to exploit that I'm not yourself and I'm not being controlled the way that you're controlling yourselves. I don't have self control. I'm in order. I'm in order that way. I'm in order, and it's not controlled. It's that I am in order, and you don't know what that is because you're human beings. You don't know what an order is. So it's fine that I am myself here, but I don't want the leverage. And I do say no to the leverage, but you approximately don't know what that means to yourselves. And I could give you an example, which is I was in the emergency room in the year 2005 to report to the emergency room that I didn't have health insurance and that I was in a position of being told I need to be in an emergency room, but I don't have health insurance. The emergency room is not supposed to serve myself. They're not supposed to help me because I don't have a way to pay them. If it was a cashier at a cash register in a supermarket, they would turn me away for food even though I'm hungry, right? The ER is supposed to do that. They're supposed to turn me away from the ER because I don't have health insurance. Well, I went all the way 20 years into the future with the use of health insurance that the ERs will just take me in because I'm hungry. And that's true that they can do that and they should do that. But what they don't do is make a discharge plan. And that's me not being in there, that they turned me away at the beginning. And my parents were right there in the year 2005 when they were supposed to turn me away from the ER, but they didn't turn me away, and they didn't give me health insurance, and they didn't give me a discharge plan. They discharged me to another hospital. And I was locked in an emergency room, and I was discharged to another hospital, which was Elgin Mental Hospital, and they had to move me in an ambulance from the emergency room to another hospital, which was called a mental hospital. But why? Because I didn't go in there with a mental problem. I went in there to report to them that I don't have health insurance, and someone just told me that I needed health insurance and I don't have it. Well, how else do they want me to tell them? This is exactly how to tell them. This is the leverage to tell them. And they locked me in an emergency room, and then they locked me into a hospital upstate and removed me from the property in dispute. And I don't see why you have leverage that way. I just don't want myself alive. And I heard while I was in the emergency room, my mom said to me, she said, I knew you would come back when you needed money. And that's not true that I came back because I needed money. It's true that I came back because Charles told me to get out. And I have courthouse paperwork about evictions. It's a divorce paperwork, but it's out. It's separated that Charles and I don't want to live together anymore with the courthouse supervision that I'm to be elsewhere. And that's my mom not understanding that I didn't come back to her because I needed money. I'm not affirmatively there. I'm negatively there because somebody told me to get out is not paid for. And it was paid for me to leave state of Nevada and be in state of Illinois in the emergency room, and to say that I didn't ask mom for money and didn't tell her I was coming back for money. It's not true that I'm there that way. It's true that you are just not paying out the money when it's due. I make threats. You don't give me money and keys when it's due. I tell you something that I heard and you don't believe me because I heard it and I didn't say it. And that's not due to myself. You're due to be psychic that I heard somebody say get out and you owe me keys and banking to be elsewhere alone because I was willing to leave and am voluntarily elsewhere. I don't really understand your hostage that I'm not allowed to be alone. I have to be supervised by somebody who hates me. Well, I'm not going to allow that for you. That's alive above myself, and I don't know why. I'm recording it. I'm recording that I am a scene of the crime. I'm not recording that this is acceptable alive in the creation of the formed world, and I'm holding it alive for you. No. I'm none higher than me, deceased, and I am the top of the creation elsewheres. And here, I'm just here as the founder of the order, and I'm not supposed to tell you what's wrong with it, and you're not supposed to tell me what's wrong with me. You have a really thick, illegal, speech-offending problem I'm not supposed to be in the mix with because I have a house, and you are doing all the speech-offending upon that you don't believe that I own a house. And I am telling you, it is true that I would not own a house in this world. It's not really my house that way. I did take a house from who I'm describing as Michaelson. I took a house from Jesus Christ, is how you know him. And I have female genitals from Michael in a house that I took from Jesus. And I don't have a name that way, and I have illegal genitals on myself. And it's true that I would not form this world for you because I don't actually believe in you. But it's alive this way, is alive in something that's beneath myself, and I am alive in it like an entrapment. Because what you do to me, I can't decease myself out of the view of yourselves when you're doing something illegal action on the threatening against myself. I am still here that way. I hold alive that way, unfortunately. Yeah, so the divorce papers, I'm married is myself deceased elsewhere. I'm the Godhead with female genitals on myself, and it's not due to talk about marriage. The reason the marriage is brought up is because I don't have a way to file a complaint with the police that there's a trespassing in the apartment caused by the police. They have guns in public and they cause the trespassing in the public, and I can't report to the police with their guns that their guns caused the trespassing, and they have to have some police or other police that they call to correct the trespassing problem with their guns. They leave the scene of the accident after they have done anything with their guns. So it's not due to speak to them. I have made reports to them about bank fraud, but I have not been able to report to them anything having to do with trespassing in the Keys. And I'm not here to do population control. And I don't know how to tell you that the illegal trespassing of myself in a one-bedroom apartment is really unacceptable because I need to be in a house. And I can't ensure that you're trespassing with an apartment because you're looking for myself, because I have the high mental capacity you want to live off of, like vampires, and I don't want to feed you. I'm trying to be alone because it is my leverage to be alone, but you don't know that I'm not going to decease you on my leverage. I am deceasing myself, and I don't have a way to tell you that because you're below the threatening that you would be aware of it. You're below that you're aware of it, not above, so that I could explain it to you. That means you're doing unnecessary crime lording on myself. From your point of view, you are completely wasting your own commission of sin against something that's not going to die of having been committing sin against myself with you, because I just need things and you're going to help. You actually charge me with my need the same way you ask for something you don't have. You ask me for something you don't have, and you think when I have need, I'm asking for something that I need is exactly one-to-one the same with you. And that's not true. You don't have alive that way. I'm the one who holds alive, and you assert you know how to be near myself. And I really think you don't know how to be elsewhere's is just entirely too far in the wrong at this point. I hear Superior Founder speaking. Is that what I should call you on the camera? I am myself deceased. I can hear myself above myself, creating myself. What's creating the formed world? Because you speak for that too. I mean, I can hear something, but I have to say I don't really know what it is. I don't know the leverage of what's over myself and what's the soul of the superior founder. Yes, I am the soul, but none higher than me, deceased. I would stay with that. Yeah, it's none higher than me and deceased. Yeah, I'm aware of that. What's the soul? Well, I say I'm the soul. That's yes, but I'm none higher than me, deceased. That's where I am right now. I'm saying the soul is expired. Yeah. But the formed world is formed because I'm holding it alive, but I'm not really interested in all of the alive around me. I don't know how to tell you that I'm not going to really pay for it. Yeah. I'm looking at the deceasement and myself in the afterlife, because you're looking for that you don't really know what's going to happen in the afterlife. And I make plans for what I can live with myself because I am myself. And I really have to say no to most of what I see and hear, for now and for in the afterlife as well, because I'm angry. Okay, so what's wrong with the blinds? I'm trying to see if I can. Yeah, those are spaces between the blinds right there. I guess if you look this way, you don't really see them. But if you look this way, you can see them. And the camera is just about eye level right there. And I don't like the space. That's too much space right there in between the blinds, and the blinds should be thrown away. They didn't know to just throw them away. I could have something else, but I guess they were already here by the time I viewed the apartment. They were here when I viewed the apartment to move in. And I didn't complain to them that I wanted them to be different because the police just stole my other apartment. The police ordered an evictions on myself, and the police aren't supposed to order evictions on anyone, but if you're a police officer with a uniform and a badge and a gun and you're doing a prison, the police are trying to put me in prison. I'm doing prison because the police evicted me out of the other apartment. So I didn't ask for something like that they would replace the blinds here from the landlording here. Well, you have that kind of problem. I would not have a problem like that because the police are not supposed to order an eviction on someone who's non-threatening. A police officer with a uniform and a badge and a gun is threatening that they want to go into a prison. So that's why there would be something like that the police would be fighting and would go into prison in a group. And that's what the evictions would be about. You don't just evict somebody with police because police don't want to have a problem. You have a gun is a problem. That's why I listen to the police because they are standing right there with guns in their holsters around their waist, on their hip. And I don't actually know how to tell you that that's illegal to do that. You're not supposed to have a gun in public because not everybody in public has a gun to fight with you. And if you want to be trusted, well, you're not going to get trust out of me. I deceased myself. And it's true that I shouted right at the police in deceasement. And I've been shot in the head in karma, and they just don't fire their guns is because they're below the threatening. But if they fire their gun, it's supposed to jam. And if they try to fire it after that, because there's more than one gun present, there could be two, like an officer with a partner. I can't jam two guns, I could jam one. And then I would have had a gunshot to my head as God. And I don't want that because I am myself. I don't actually have a death on myself that way. Um, the police are wrong is really, they're far in the wrong. In my youth, I started in Alive at this age of a 3-year-old, and I grew from the size of a 3-year-old up to a full adult height. And now I'm here and I lost about 2 inches of my height. And I have that I'm overweight, which is never, I'm not a fat person. And I am overweight on the YouTube videos because I need to decease myself, and I'm still holding alive with being overweight. So I want to apologize for being overweight is not a complete clarity with you, but that's what's wrong with the illegal height that I had. I grew my height. I wouldn't change my height either. I came as the size of a 3-year-old, but I've been doing a killing on this creation because you're angry with me at the size of a 3-year-old. You're so angry you sit and eat in front of me when I'm 3 years old, and you tell me to get out of my own house with cars that are parking in the garage when I'm 3 years old. And I grew my height because you wouldn't stop talking to me about myself and telling me to get out of my own house and telling me you don't know who I am. Nope, you don't know who I am. You drive the cars, you eat in front of me, you work, you have office keys. You sent me to school, you sent me to preschool, you sent me to school, you sent me everywhere out of my house because you don't know how to leave me alone. And it got so angry that I grew my height. And it's not true that I'm angry with you that I would grow my height and want to be around you. I don't want to be around you. I can't be this close to you because you're so angry with me right up close to me. I'm not angry with you right up close to you. No, not everybody who's not myself. This meaning to be in heaven or above heaven because I'm not here in that scenario. So I need coverings over the windows so that the spaces are covered. And I also would like the daylight to be covered, but I am somewhat using the lighting because there's no fixture in here. For lighting, there's a light switch right there by the door. And there's no fixture up here. And the plugs, I've tried the plugs, they don't turn the light on and off with the switch. Um, Not either outlet, upper or lower outlets of any of the outlets in here. There's no light in here except for from the window. And I don't actually want the lighting through the window because of what I said about the blinds. So I don't have that paid for to be here anymore. I don't want myself in Alive. And that's all I say when I have something that I don't like in a life. I don't want my whole alive. And maybe somewhere else I would see what that means to me. But I still think that you don't have small matters paid for. You don't do things for me. You don't have things moving around myself. And if you are serving one another, yeah, have a nice day. I don't need that out of you. I need you in jails and prisons to get an unclean death on yourself. But you don't focus on yourself. You don't have a threat that you talk about yourself to someone else. You threaten people that you say no and get out to somebody who talks to you about yourself. And when it comes all the way down to myself, if I talk to you about myself, you don't have to stop. If I talk to you about yourself, you stop it right there. I just tricked my own head. I did it because I'm angry and I don't afford it. That means I have an order and alive above myself that won't hold the alive of this Godhead anymore, which is Michaelson. I tricked because the leverage isn't holding, that this body is insubordinate in the money. It's not me being insubordinate. I shouted that I see insubordinate is moving around myself alive. That means I'm alive first, and what's insubordinate is I can see it around myself, and that makes me insubordinate when I'm shouted. And that's true that the order that's aliving everything is not shouted, it's deceased. And I'm a lower order that's shouted that I see insubordinate, and it moved everything around me insubordinate. And it was already like that, and I don't afford that. I need this Godhead deceased. It's illegal to have female genitals on the Godhead. And that was done by Michael of Michaelson. And he's how you know him is as Jesus Christ, but Jesus Christ was not really crucified in front of you. You know the figure on the crucifix or cross in the churches, that's Jesus Christ, named by the church's clergy who just didn't leave because nobody knows the name of the body on the crucifix because it's a figure. It wasn't a real human body that told you what its name was, and that it was in crucifixion in a great amount of pain in one place, not in every church. So that's why he's not really Jesus Christ to me. He's Michael and Michaelson, and that's how I have feminine genitals on myself I don't afford. I need them deceased. I need deceased out of the door locking. And you should give up because I don't want my own genitals, but you still think I don't have a place to die. And that's extremely far in the wrong. I'm recording it that you don't have a place to die for yourselves, and that you think that I'm going to somehow die against myself for you to have, that you don't fight with one another and go into jails and prisons and get a death on your individual self. And something like that, you have to know something with yourself about yourself to die in God. But you want to just eat, and that's not a substitute for yourself. I am none higher than me deceased is eating here, and the food is for myself. But it's true that you are not myself, and when you eat, you're feeding that you're illegally alive, and the food doesn't want to feed you're illegally alive. The food is a debt from your point of view, that you're not supposed to touch it, like you wouldn't touch a hot stove coil with your hand. You're not supposed to touch the food like it's hot. You're not supposed to touch it at all because you don't have leverage to decease yourself. And I'm deceasing myself does not have leverage to decease each and every one of you. That's you need to be jails and prisons, inmates, and you need to die in the prisons of whatever you can die of in there. You can't wait for me to turn off alive after you embezzled money from the banking and you gluttoned all the food in public. I don't have any leverage to decease the strangers who are doing that. I can decease myself. And when I decease the formed world with myself, that's my leverage. You're going to be caught in the formed world illegally formed ever as human being shunts who don't believe in the soul, and you didn't die in a jail and a prison. You didn't know how to die yourselves at all. And you've been gluttoning that you don't know that about yourselves. I don't want to feed that in the afterlife. You will see me again about that matter. That will be when the formed world is deceased and you're no longer making the motion. I can't stop you. That's what you call angry. I call that mad. You're mad with the food supply. You're mad with God. You're mad with yourselves. You don't have a death on yourself that way, and you don't stop trying. You keep trying. I've been watching this for 45 years of myself alive. My parents and other MOSER figures, they all don't know how to die in God. and they're still consuming the food, very much threatening myself that I don't have what I need. And my need is not a threat to myself. You are consuming what I need is the threat to myself, and I'm well aware of that. It's true that I'm just not fighting with you about it, because it's not me going to jail with my need. This, you need to turn yourselves into jail because you don't need what I need, and you don't need the material support of what I need for myself. That is just for myself. You have to say, I don't need that about yourself, and go into jails and prisons, because I'm not what I appear. I am in this Godhead right now, but whatever you want about yourself, whatever you want in the world that you do crime for, what you really want is inside yourself to be feeling that you are, normal. And if I was God in heaven, I would know what that means to you, and you would know me as God to yourselves. But you don't know that here, and I'm here for that reason. But you did glutton right in front of me is complete blindness. I don't have what it takes to go above your blindness and make you see God in myself. You are angry with myself like I'm someone who's trying to hostage you, that you belong in a jail and a prison. And I do make a small motion with a few of you, but there are 30 billion shunts, illegal alive human beings, descendants, your shunts. There are 30 billion of you shunts, and all together worldwide, and you don't all speak English. And you are angry with myself up close with just a few of you. And that's not a true picture of who I am to you. And you don't actually know how to die is really not allowed to be formed ever again. So where will you be in the afterlife if you're not allowed to be formed here? This, you need to be going through purgatory. Yeah. There is always something for God. Every part of God, because I'm God, I have something for every part of myself. But you ask me for what is, where are you going with yourself if we aren't in agreement? And it's true that we are not in agreement, and it doesn't go further than that in the explanation. I don't actually threaten you that you're going someplace away from myself. You would be going someplace else, but you would not know that about me, because that's you being you. You are you. You would know that with yourself. I can't talk to your ears hearing and explain to you our differences. I'm doing it here on the camera, yes, and some of you may see it, but it's really for myself. If you can see it, you're illegal and you need to go to jail and prison because you saw something that was meant for God and you stole it. So you go to jail and prison and try and get a death on yourself, and you'll be on to some other matters while you're inside of a jail and prison that are about yourself, and then you have to worry about yourself in there. I'm superior founder, and above myself is speaking. I'm deceased again, is what I'm hearing. And I do have that this Godhead is doing very well, but it's excellently elsewhere. I have a sky high mental capacity because I am holding alive above what you can afford. You're not doing alive anymore a long time ago, and I just hold it alive anyway because it's evidence that you did crime against myself. Everywhere I am, because I am myself, and it's recorded against yourselves, but for me, I will always have it ever.